I am joined by the PRO spokesperson, River Society, Civil Society Organization, and that's Comrade Solomon Leno. Good evening. Glad to have you join me.
Yeah, good evening, News Central and Nigerians. It's a pleasure to be here once again.
All right. Now, it's a case of another day, another protest. I mean, just yesterday, there was protest in River State by some faction loyal to the former governor, Wike. And today again, women from the host community at the airport blocked the entrance of the airport. What's your impression of this?
Well, we are in quite an interesting time. And I think what is happening in River State right now by those who are protesting is the highest level of political bestiality from the Oedipus complex state of mind of a certain group of persons who actually loved a certain thing yesterday but hate it today just because someone else is involved. If you look at what is happening today, you will just understand that these are people, the people who are protesting out right now are people who are hell-bent on making sure that River State is painted in a certain light so that they can have legitimacy for their inordinate calls for state of emergency that they have been calling. And I say so because if you look at the people who are leading this protest right now, the former Speaker of the House of Assembly, Right Honorable Martin Chike Amaewhule. In fact, he was part of those who passed the River State Local Government Law number 5 of 2018, which empowers the state governor to actually, have a caretaker committee in the brief period in preparation to substantial local government elections. And as we speak today, that is the law of River State, albeit that there are moves to ensure that we expunge caretaker committee from our laws and from our governance system in Nigeria. But the truth of the matter is that as of today, that has not been done. Okay. And as of today, every action that the state governor had taken are legitimate. And I can tell you that these people that you're seeing protesting are people who are trying to ensure that people outside of River State will see River State as a state that is in chaos, as a state that is in rancor, so that they can have legitimacy for all the illegal calls that they are calling over there in Abuja.
Comrade Leno, if I may, Comrade Leno, you talked about something quite interesting. You talked about the Caretaker Committee, and now some persons have said there was 8-point agenda signed last year where the president interceded, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, between the former governor of River State, that's Nyesom Wike, and the sitting governor right now, Siminalayi Fubara. And then in this 8-point agreement or agenda, it was therein written that, those local council chairmen will have their tenure extended. And so why now is the governor of Fubara acting against what he agreed upon? What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think you're actually not getting it correctly. If you look at the 8-point resolution of 18th of December 2023, extending the tenure of the local government chairman.
Seems we lost you there.
Of those resolutions. And yes, and also I will also want you to understand that the resolution at Aso Rock in December was not a law. It was just a decision. You understand, a political solution, so to say, like a father would try to proffer to his children who are having crisis. It is not known before our laws. It is because what we operate here in Nigeria is a constitutional democracy, and everything that we must do must be according to the law. So that was just an intervention. And of course, we must commend the governor who tried as much as he could to try to, implement most of the things that was on that resolution, which the extension of the tenure of the local government chairman was not part of it. And I'd also reiterated a lot of times that, look, that someone is peaceful, he loves a peaceful coexistence, does not mean that the person will go to the extent of breaking the law. What is happening here today now amounts to breaking the law. If you ask an elected chairman who were elected and a stipulated tenure given to them to go and continue beyond that stipulated time, you have created a political precedent that will haunt not just Rivers State in the future, but Nigeria as a whole. If you listen to what the governor of Ogun State, Akpor Abiodun, said, yesterday when he was on one of the TV stations, he said that, look, that the whole governors of the South are behind the state governor of Rivers State, not just because he's from the South, but because what is happening in Rivers State, if left alone, will create a very dangerous and terrible precedent in our democratic process.
If I may comment,
you understand?
Comrade Leno, yeah. Now, talking about the Caretaker Committee, there's been different insinuations. I'll come back to this issue of protests, in Rivers State by dignitaries. But then, just to follow up on what you just hinted upon, some persons have said the governor himself contravened the constitution of the state by inaugurating the Caretaker Committee. And perhaps, it seems as though the State House of Assembly preempted the governor by because he has refused to conduct local government elections, and so their tenure were extended. What's your view or impression of that?
Well, when you have a situation like the one that we are having in Rivers State here, people will come up with, several factions will come up with, a narrative that will suit their actions and try to make them look legitimate and all of that. As we speak today, the RISEC, Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, had actually sent out a circular, for a meeting where they and the government of Rivers State will put heads together to put out, a timetable for the local government election. The plans for the local government election is actually, ongoing as we speak. But like leadership abhors vacuum. As of today, the tenure of the elected local government chairman had elapsed. And then do you expect that the local government, the people at the governors at the local level was supposed to be allowed without people that will man the leadership saddle at that level? That's not the right thing to be done. And then to ensure that there is no vacuum, the governor in his own wisdom and with the power vested in him went ahead to create caretaker committees that will take charge of the local government until such a time when the election is done. So all these things that you see people doing on the street of Port Harcourt today are just people who are bent on making sure that they paint the government of Rivers State in bad light, because ab initio, they didn't want Rivers State to be in peace.
Now, having said that,
of course, so far first, what is happening today is an orchestrated attempt by those who felt that the state belongs to them.
Now, having said that, Comrade Leno,
and have taken back the state, and that's why you're seeing what is happening.
If I may, Comrade Leno, just to build on what you have stated just now, talking about the Caretaker Committee. Now, we understand that new local council chairmen have been instructed to work from anywhere in Rivers State, either working from home or any public facility, in the light of now, in view of what has transpired yesterday, today, and previously also, how can they even be productive? Well,
that's the irony of what is happening here today in Rivers State. I can tell you, I am here, I'm talking to you right from the heart of the city of Port Harcourt, and I can tell you without mincing word that there is a serious acceleration in the hearts and minds, of Rivers citizens, in the hearts and minds of Rivers workers at the local government level. And mind you, governance of an organization is not about the structure. It is about the human beings. It is about the people. It is about the understanding of the people of how things should be and how things are done. So with or without the local government secretariat and all of this, I can tell you that governance is going on. As we speak today, salaries are being paid, salaries that were owed to people because the same local government, recalcitrant local government chairman, former local government chairman, who refused to pay the adjusted salaries to the local government workers. Today, as we speak now, the people are happy. There is happiness all over the place because the city chairman had come and then they can see that these people have hit the ground running and these people mean well for them. So nobody should tell you that there's a palpable fear or apprehension or whatever in Rivers State. Those are just the picture that the detractors of Rivers people are trying to paint out there, just to buttress or to give legitimacy to their illegal action. So that's the truth of the matter. And it is very, very important that new outlets like yours, should properly situate the situation that is happening in Rivers State for the proper understanding of Nigerians, and not what the detractors of Rivers State are putting out there. Those people are enemies of Rivers State, and they don't mean well. And that they are saying is not the position of things.
Just to put it out there, we are very much vested in true journalism here, at News Central TV. But then thank you so much for your insight on the news, Comrade Solomon Lenu, PRO spokesperson, Rivers Civil Society Organization. Many thanks once again.
Thanks for having me. God bless you.